Okay, right. Okay, so Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and a very good morning to everyone. So I am Dr. Sadri from CPD and I would like to welcome all of you to our educational series 1 on effective instructional design for online teaching training. To get the barakah for today's training, let us recite Kitab Al-Fatiha. Okay, so let me introduce you to our speaker or trainer for today, which is Dr. Shukri Nordin. Okay, so, he is an expert in instructional design. He's from Kuliah of Educations. Okay, so without further ado, the session is yours, Dr. Shukri.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sadri. Thank you, CPD, for this session. Hold on, let me just start my video. Hold on. Oh, sorry. Okay. Okay, now I can see. I was on the second page just now. Cannot see you. Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome, dear friends and colleagues. So today it's a bit of sharing from myself on basically the topic would be, let me just share. I changed a bit the topic from what I submitted to the office to CPD, but it's more or less the same. Okay. So basically, we are talking about designing effective and engaging pedagogy, transforming the online learning experience. And I think ever since PKP, the COVID hit us, we are now aware that things has never been the same, would never be the same, and I think we should flow along with whatever that is happening these days. And things are going hybrid, I would say. Before I begin any further, I can see only Dr. Sadri. Thank you very much for video on. I understand now. Sorry, I understand that not everyone are comfortable, but let us do some. My session will involve participation from the participant as well, and anything I'm looking at my chat box as well, and whatever that need to be asked, if you are not able to ask directly, you can ask in the chat box. And also I would like everyone to go here. I'll be using mostly this tool for today's session, which is Miro. Hold on, let me share the link first. Let me see how many do we have? Yeah, for this session.
63 now, Dr. Shukri.
63, okay.
Yeah.
Alhamdulillah. All right, so let me just share this. If you can type in our chat box, meeting chat, have you ever heard of the name of this application called Miro? The name of the application is Miro. Anyone has heard of this application? Let me copy this link and share with everyone, yeah. Yes, some no, never use it. Yes. Okay, no, okay, let me share this. You don't have to download anything, you can just use this right from your browser. I'm sharing this with you in the chat box and click the link, see if you can access this Miro. Yes, I can see someone visiting developer. Okay, never heard of it. Today you will hear it. Okay, never. Okay, this is for me to get to know everyone. It's good to know who I am talking to, addressing to today. 63, quite a number. All right. In Miro, if you know Jamboard, I'm sure everyone have heard of Jamboard, yeah? Okay. Miro is just like Jamboard, but after using it, I would say this is Jamboard times 10 or 20. If you want to. Okay, because you are not a registered user, all you can see, let me just share this with you. What I can see on my Miro now and what you can see on your Miro as well is the same. Okay, so that's what you are seeing now, and what I am seeing now, everyone is on Miro. Miro is a whiteboard application. It's one of the tools that I have been using since PKP or MCOs hit us, since the COVID hit us. And to me, I started with Jamboard because I needed one whiteboard or a platform where everyone is together on the same page. Are you looking at my Miro or my slide? On your screen now. Miro, okay, my Miro, okay.
Yep,
Thank
we
you.
see yours.
Okay, all right. So basically, during COVID, during MCO, I needed one platform where I can work together with my students, where they are actively doing activities that I plan, I design for them, and we can work together at the same time synchronously for this. So I tried Jamboard, but Jamboard is quite limited. And after seeing Miro and using Miro, I find this is the tool that currently works the best for me. Okay, Aizat, thank you. Dr. Aizat is my colleague from the same unit, instruction and technology as well. Can be my co-assistant today. Okay, first thing, what I want to do with everyone is to introduce yourself. Since you can see Miro already, hold on, let me go back to my slide. Okay. To introduce yourself with a selfie if possible, and a bit of info on yourself, which kuliah, center, division, and a bit more information. You can see I have already put my photo there, and let me just put a sticky note there to tell you all a bit about myself. Kuliah of education. Hold on, let me put my sticky note on top of my photo there. Yes. From Kuliah of Education. Teaching instructor. You can introduce yourself however you like. This is what I'm doing. You can copy mine if you want. Instructional technology and instructional. My current tool of choice for my class is currently I'm using these 3 application which I'm sharing about today. Okay, so there you go. You can zoom in. Okay, you need to yes, make it smaller. All right, yes. Okay, let's have some introduction first before I go any further with my presentation today. Let's see who is who. would be nice to have a photo together with your description. Someone commented on this. Okay. If you're familiar with Jamboard, let me just show you how to use this. I should have done that earlier. Okay, hold on. Let me just show you how to use this. So you can see the toolbar on the left side is almost pretty much similar to Jamboard. Okay, you can download it. Sorry, you can upload your photo from this button, upload from your device. Most likely it will be from your device, your photo, and then there is a sticky note menu here. You can choose whatever color of sticky notes you
Dr.
want.
Sorry to interrupt.
Yes.
Prof Suhaimi mentioned in the chat box he cannot type
sorry.
anything.
Oh, cannot tap. Oh,
Yeah.
Dr. Saimi, yes. Welcome. Hold on, let me check. Cannot type. Let me check my sharing. Can edit. By right, you can. Dr. Suhaimi, what device are you using to access Miro? Long time no see, my friend.
Doctor, I was on my handphone, that's why I couldn't find any tool that you mentioned. I can only see something moving, but not the tool that you showed. Sorry, doctor.
Okay, no, understood. That's what I expected. Okay, hold on. Let me check. Okay. Wow, Dr. Wan Shibra. One Army, you need to make it smaller.
Trying. I don't know. This is new. Okay. Oh, I did not know
It's
you
okay.
can see there. I thought this was on my editing page, not your editing page. Good job.
No problem, no
Jadi
problem.
wallpaper.
Oh
Yes,
my God.
wallpaper terus.
Yeah.
Okay, how do I get rid of this? Tolong.
Hold on. Let me just remove your photo here. Yeah,
Oh yes, please.
make it smaller.
Yeah, ampun.
Very
Okay.
nice.
Yes.
But okay. This is
It
all
works.
nice and good.
It works better if you are on laptop or tablet. On phone, slightly because the
Difficult,
screen,
right?
yes, the screen is
Mm.
small. But this is meant to be used with students when they are on their laptop or PC. But they can still use on their phone. Hold on. Like Dr. Saimi, you are on your phone. Hold on. The menu gets a bit tricky, but still can be used. Let me find the board. Dr. Wan Shibra CV terus no problem. Can be used also. Okay. Wih, ini course outline terus ni. Okay. Let me make it a bit smaller.
Discuss terus ni course outline ni. Directly
Itulah dia.
discuss.
Okay, interesting. Okay, I can see. Dr. Saimi, on your phone, those who are using your mobile phone,
On your
Couldn't
phone,
find,
you
huh?
will, yeah?
I couldn't find the menu with the tool and the T everything. I only see the screen.
Correct. Do you see a plus sign on top? Sorry, bottom right corner.
Plus sign, huh?
Plus sign.
Let me try.
Yes. When you click the plus sign, the menu will all be there.
Dr. Shukri, Dr. Arlina asking how she want to rename
I'll rename. Hold on.
herself on Miro.
Rename herself on Miro. Oh, rename yourself as Miro. You need to log in using any email. Arlina, Zura. You need to log in on Miro. If you just click my link, you will only be identified as visiting explorer lah, whatever. There, I can see your name, Lina, Zura.
Because I typed that one on the one that everyone is moving, right? The arrow.
Uh-huh.
You can see visiting artisan, and some of them have their names on it. So I would have to sign in as well, is it?
Correct. If you are using this with your students, it's advisable that you ask your students to register on Miro. Let me just tell everyone. What I like about Miro is when you use your education email, which our students also has education email, kan?
Okay.
You will get all features unlocked. So we get the fully featured Miro unlocked just by using our education email. We don't have to pay for anything.
Okay, cool.
So for our students, they need to use their live email. That is their education email. For us, we need to use we actually can get two. We can use our Gmail, which is at iium.edu.my, as well as our live. We also have our live email, our 365 kan.
Okay.
So you can get two Miro account fully featured for free. Unlimited board, unlimited a team.
That one for educational punya educational package, right, Dr. Shukri?
Correct.
Alright, okay.
Adalah slight limitation, but all the features for paid plan we get. Yeah. Sekarang ni kita mencari yang we have international staff here kan.
Yeah. We have international stuff.
Okay, so we are all looking for free applications. Okay, hold on. Somehow my just fill introduction page first.
Okay. There are other tools that can be used with our education email actually. Like Notion, but the one that I'm using today, Notion and Miro, all are used because I'm using it using our education email, so I get all the education plan. Okay, we have Dr. Sadri. Rina from CFS, I'm assuming your sticky note is the one next to your photo, yeah? Okay, so okay, Narmi. All right. So these are some of the features. Normally my introductory flow for my class for the first week of the semester, I would do this so that they get to know Miro as well, and I get to know them by face, by name, okay? And you can rearrange however you like, or once you are done, you can just each of this is a board, yeah? Like this one, Haniza, you just rename my board to your name, but actually it's the name of my board. So I just need to rename it. Introduce yourself here. You can also prevent your students from changing your board by locking your board. You can see what I'm doing here. I click my board here, the title of my board. My board is highlighted. You can just lock this and click once again. If you just lock this way, no one can remove your board. Your board remains unmovable, but they can still unlock it themselves by long press to unlock. But if you want to totally lock this, you just click your board, click the lock button, and click once again. So this is highlighted blue, meaning only you, the owner of the board, can unlock. Okay, no one else can. So this is usually what I do with my students. I will lock this so that only I can move this. So just like Jamboard, someone is saying something in chat. How do I join this Miro session? Oh, okay, hold on. The link coming. Okay. Okay. There are many other features of Miro that you can use with your students. You have here a timer. If you can see on top here, the menu timer, you can set timer for your students to do any kind of activity. You can have a voting or poll, okay? You can get students to vote whatever elements or items that you put on your Miro board, and you can have breakout frames where only assigned students can see any particular frame. It's like a breakout room on Google Classroom. Sorry, Google Meet. All right. Okay. But this won't be our main activity for today. We are not doing this for 2 hours. This is just for introduction. Okay. So while you are doing this, let me just go back to my main slide. This is just a bit of introduction. I can see a lot of people are moving there. Okay. Oi, dah jadi 2. But what I like about Miro also is it is a huge whiteboard that you have for your class. You can, it can be an LMS on its own if you want it to be. Everything you put there for the whole semester, you can, what do you call that? You can plan your board according to each week of the semester. You have 14 boards, and you can close the board. For example, let me just go to this copy ori ni. See the eye icon? You can close it, so no students can see. So you can plan your weekly lessons on Miro if you want. Plan it for 14 weeks and open only the relevant weeks, only when you need it to be open. All right. So let me just go back to. I always love to see this, all the little people on this Miro board moving around, trying to figure out what to do.
Doctor, the movement around here is showing where everyone's cursor is at the moment, can?
Correct.
Yeah, so basically if it's hovering over something, the person is looking at that particular or reading at
Correct.
that particular
Yes.
location. Okay.
Yes, correct.
Uh,
And you can bring everyone back to you as well.
oh, how do you do that?
You go to mana ni? You go to your icon on top right of your screen. Okay, click
Okay.
yourself, click your own icon, bring everyone to me. Can you see it?
Oh, this
Ah.
only happens for the owner or for anyone?
For anyone, actually.
So any user can actually do this.
Yes, they can bring the whole everyone to themselves, or bring you can do it to bring your students to yourself. So if they got lost in this huge, you can see how big the space get.
Yes.
So you can just bring everyone to me. Their screen will jump to where you are.
Also, basically, let's say we're giving a group presentation, they're presenting on their own, let's say, board, can. So they can, when it's their turn, they can bring the whole class to their board to explain or present.
Correct. Yes, correct.
Okay.
And
Menarik.
one more facts about Miro that I like also, you can explore their template. It can be used as a replacement for PowerPoint. It has nice slide deck template, and each board you can see here is actually a deck. A slide. So when you present, they will present according to the board. Anything outside the board cannot be seen when you present it. Okay, we will explore Miro. Dr. Sadri, we should have named this Miro saja kan, this workshop.
Yeah, that would be nice.
because there are so many things that you can do with Miro.
It's so
Speaking from experience, I've been using this since COVID hit. When we were all at home, I discovered it because I find Jamboard quite limited. So I was looking for another solution yang free. Number one is free. Number one is free. So and number two is it has more features than Jamboard. I found this. There is another actually, the competitor to Miro, which is Figma. Have you heard of Figma? Figma also is a very strong competitor to Miro, but after trying both, I'm choosing Miro as my weapon of choice. Okay. Especially when you have hybrid class. Okay, we can go back. I can see people still moving on Miro, meaning they are still
They're
trying.
so excited.
Okay, let's give them 5 more minutes, Dr. Sadri, boleh ya?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, okay. Let me just delete this copy ori je dulu. So that people won't be confused. Oh, dah ada yang pakai mind map punya ni. Okay. So all the features, while waiting for the rest to finish their introduction, all the features are available on the left side of the screen. So the top one is your cursor, of course, where you select, or the shortcut is V. And the second menu is template. This is where you get all the nice templates. Whatever you want, slide deck, mind map, group activity. There are so many templates that you can choose from. For meetings as well, you can do meetings on Miro. Either ones created by Miro themselves or ones created by the community. They have Miroverse, they call it. Okay. Those who are in Miroverse, you can contribute your template as well to Miroverse so that the rest can share the same template that you are using. If you are using a tablet, this pen icon is the one that you click so that you can write on it while you are presenting to your students. Okay, the board, sorry, it's not called board, it's called frame. Okay, this is where you create your frame. If you click here, you can have custom size of frame, or A4 size, letter size, 16 by 9, 4 by 3, or 1 by 1. For example, this one, Yes, you can click frame, and this is considered as a slide. On if you are using PowerPoint, kan ada slide. This is one slide. When you present, this slide will be presented. Okay.
Excuse me, may I ask one
Yes.
question? How do
Yes,
I
please.
ensure that, let's say, my students will not be visiting Pioneer, visiting Trailblazer? I want them to have their names. How do I
Oh
ensure that?
yes. You get them to register on Miro. Okay. And then you add them to your team. Then once they are logged in and on your board, you can see their name as how it is. Because this is for the purpose of the workshop. So you are not in my team, and you are not, some of you are not logged in using any emails, just random visitor. That's why you see these weird names, kan? Visiting Pioneer, visiting writer. So if you want them to be able, you want to be able to see their names, get them to register to Miro using their education email, so that they get a fully featured Miro without having to pay for anything. Okay, unlock it just like how we do it, and then you add them to your team. You go to boards. You can see here on the left side boards. You can see, for example, setting, team users. Hold on, you can see there all the names of team users. Okay, and once you are ready to add them to your board, this is the project. You can create project. Okay, once you're ready to add them to your board, you just go here and share button on your top right side, and you can allow anyone in your team to view, to comment, or to edit, or to have no access at all. This one, I was using this one. Anyone with a link can edit. Okay, I can click can comment, meaning you cannot do any editing. You can just comment on any of the elements there. Okay, or you can just allow them to view it.
What would be the best suggestion if we have 3 classes of about 30 students? Do we need to like put their names, or we just give them the link and tell them to register to make it more manageable?
Okay, to make it more manageable, I just recently removed all my students from this, so I just want to start fresh. Okay, but to make it more manageable, can you see my screen now? Who may I know who's speaking?
Nur Azza from Selpad.
Oh, okay. All right. To make it more manageable, can you see my screen now, Sister Azza?
Yes, yes.
Okay. You click here boards, you will be taken to your main control of Miro. Okay. You can see here, these are all the boards that I have in my Miro. But in Miro, the flow is when you have Miro, you will have individual boards, but you can manage these individual boards into projects. Okay, so like for example, this one, these are my classes. Okay, these are all my classes. I name each class for that semester by project. So you can click plus here, you can create one project. Okay, for example, this one is my project for my photography class. Okay, I have 2 boards here for my students. One for their weekly challenges. Okay. So you can see some of the assignment or activities are hidden because I don't want them to, once it is past the due date, I hide it so that they won't be able to see, edit, or add. Okay, so that because it is already past due date. Okay, so we control that. So I open it now, for example. This is their submission for their photo assignments. Okay. but they are in this board called EDIT 1302 semester 1 2020 and 2023. So this is where you add your students, okay, who are registered to your Miro. Okay, so you add them according to project, the only project that you want them to see. Okay, so what I do is I name each project according to the subject that I'm teaching for that semester. Okay.
Wow, so many functions, yeah? It really makes our teaching life easier.
Sangat, yes. There are many functions that I find it very, because students during PKP, during MCO, there were many complaints about how heavy the system is, how bogged down they are by requirement of the internet. We tried using everything, kan? I think every one of us are on the same floor here. We tried. I know CPD tried their best with iTaklim. To me, iTaklim, the platform, apa tu, Moodle is like a Swiss knife. Semua ada. They have everything, but there are also complications on it. Okay, and then we were given Microsoft Team, but my students has always been complaining about Microsoft Team being so heavy, they cannot access it at all sometimes, even though it is free. And Microsoft Team also is just like a Swiss knife. There are so many tools that you can use for Microsoft Team, but still it's heavy. So I was shopping around for this kind of tools, and that's how I found Miro. So it is up to us actually which one we want to use. Okay, but not too many. I would say if you find 1, 2 that works well with your students, I would say stick to that one and not give too many to, and with apa nama ni, with your students. If not, they get confused. Okay, Google Classroom, of course, is a very simple one. Okay, very structured, very simple. But then again, we are no longer using Google Classroom because our Google account now has been reduced to just the personal plan, 15 gig, which is not enough. Okay, so that's how I discovered this. All right, I think we can go to my slide now. All right. Okay. Where's my slide? Okay. So that's it for the introduction, which took us more than half an hour, but it's good.
It's interesting.
Yes. I
I
was planning to save this Miro to the end to show how to use Miro, but it's okay. All right. We are looking first at instructional design strategies and best practices, because we are all the designer of our instruction, the designer of our students' learning experience. That's what we all are as a teacher. Okay, as a teacher. Basically, we are looking into the world of instructional design and educational technology today. So I'm just going to talk a bit about educational technology as a whole. Okay, what is it? Educational technology, when we talk about, because COVID, if one thing that COVID taught us, it would be about how technology plays a big role in the world today. We have gone hybrid, I would say, right? And it's interesting, after MCO ended, it's interesting to realize that some people, they are quite happy because they can go back to the traditional teaching. Okay, they say, oh, okay, done. No more Zoom, no more Google Meet, no more Team, whatever. I can just go back to blah, blah, blah in the class. Okay. But to me, there are a few good things that we should take from our experience dealing with COVID, which is how technology in education can be used efficiently, effectively, engagingly with our students to make it more interesting for their learning experience. Okay, so for educational in my office, no problem, Dr. Maida, no problem. All right, I'm looking at the chat box as well. Okay, so number one, educational technology is about facilitating learning and improving performance of our students. Number one is to facilitate their learning, to guide them in their learning experience, and not just to give them notes for them to study, for them to sit for the exam. So in order for us to know how to facilitate learning and how to improve performance, we need to study first on how to create, to manage, and to use processes and resources in the classroom for our students. And these are the processes and resources that we will practice to facilitate learning and improve performance. So it goes one circle. All right. So that is the gist of what educational technology is, or EdTech. Okay. It's easier to say EdTech because sometimes when in my experience, when I say my field is IT, people automatically assume that I'm from KICT, which is a totally different kuliah and area as well. Okay. My field is instructional technology. People would think that IT as in computer, not necessarily. Okay. But when we say in Malay, teknologi pendidikan, people automatically, okay, faham. All right. But when we say IT, it gets confusing. So that's why I prefer to use the term EdTech, educational technology. Okay. So in order for us to align our teaching and students' learning, I always go back to constructive alignment, a very simple framework that you can follow in order to have the best balance or alignment between our learning outcomes, learning and teaching activities, and assessment tasks to check whether the students have reached the learning outcomes or not. Okay, so I'm sure everyone is quite familiar with constructive alignment, because we have our course outline. In our course outline, we have learning outcomes. Okay, so from that learning outcomes, how do we check? Okay, how do we make our content match that learning outcome? Okay, whether the students have achieved the objective or the outcomes that we want them to achieve by looking at our teaching and learning activities for the students, as well as how do we assess the achievement of the learning outcomes. Okay, I think every kuliah recently has busy with our new curriculum review, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so this is still fresh in mind. So number one that we need to ask, what do I want students to learn on that day, on that particular day? What do you want them to do? So this is the learning outcome. What knowledge do I want my students to be able to apply when they have completed the course or the lesson? Okay, the course as a whole or the lesson for that particular day. All right. So that is also about the learning outcomes. All right. And after that, you need to check. Think of what assessment tasks or criteria that will tell you your students have achieved the learning outcomes. Will it be via quiz or via assignment or task or whatever learning activities that you want them to do, for you to be able to see, yes, they have reached or achieved the learning outcomes. Okay, so assessment tasks. All right, and then once you have that in mind, okay, I want them to do this mini project for me to check that they have. Okay, so how do you design that lesson to encourage students to behave in ways that are likely to achieve these outcomes? So all this need to be, so it's no longer about going into the class, giving lectures, blah, 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 blah for 2 hours, and then expect students all understood. Okay, so learning and teaching activities. So that is basically what constructive alignment is, to align between these three components of your teaching. All right. So when we look at teaching and learning activities and assessment, okay, what is it that normally we do in the classroom to check from time to time that students have understood? Okay, the simplest is Faham tak? Do you understand? That would be the simplest. But out of, for example, 35 students, how many would confidently or sincerely raise their hand and say, yes, I understand? Or even say, no, I don't. I don't get whatever that you have said for the past 2 hours. Okay? Student would say, apa yang dia merepek? All right. So what are other alternatives that you can design or you can think of to check your students' understanding, to tell you that they have reached the learning outcome? So this is what I'm going to introduce today, share with everyone today on, sorry. Wait, telajak. Okay, classroom assessment techniques, CATS. Or they call it CATS. Okay, I'm sure some would be familiar with this. Anyone not familiar with this? May I know? You can answer in chat box. Okay, what happened to my chat box? Hold on, let me check. Ah, my chat box frozen. Okay, hold on. Not familiar, no. Okay. Okay, thank you. So that I can explain this a bit further. Hold on, let me just, I'm using a second screen. Somehow the second screen is always problematic. Let me move my chat box here so that I can better see what everyone is saying. Okay. Classroom assessment techniques, or CATS for short, is an active learning strategies that you can use formatively in your classroom from time to time to check your students' understanding of your lesson. Okay. So your content, coming back to your content for a while, should be active, should be aimed at active learning, because it helps promotes HOTS or higher order thinking skills, how to apply knowledge, how to evaluate knowledge, how to create knowledge. All right. And your content also should engage and interact with your students, so that it gives them a better learning experience. It goes deep, more than just a surface learning or rote learning, or just more than just memorizing facts that you give them. Okay, they should be able to apply and transfer knowledge better by engaging them with your content. Okay, and one of the ways to make it active for you to be able to check your students' understanding is to use classroom assessment techniques, or one of the active learning strategies. Okay, so you engage your students in order to activate their learning. Okay, you can engage and activate their learning with CATS, classroom assessment techniques. Have you heard of what is classroom assessment techniques? Basically, it is a set of formative evaluation methods used by instructors to assess students' understanding and learning in real time. So during the classroom session, you can actively assess, not wait until a quiz or exam. So it is used to be done formatively. Example of CATS, I'm sure everyone familiar with this one. You can answer in chat box. Have you heard of Think, Pair, Share? No? This is no for CATS or Think, Pair, Share? Sister Hanani. Okay, what about Madia's point? Heard of it? What about 1 minute? Can see the slide? You cannot see.
We stuck
Can you
at
see the slide?
We can see the chapter 2 classroom assessment technique CATS.
Oh my God. Saya bercakap seorang-seorang dah tadi. What happened to the... Okay. Can you see now?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, hold on. Engage and activate their learning with CATS. What is classroom? I was talking about what is classroom assessment techniques just now. The set of formative evaluation methods. There are so many CATS. Okay. Sister Tasha, yes, for team pair share, thank you. Think pair share, a very simple activity, but can get your students actively doing or thinking in the classroom. Okay, you give them a topic or a problem, they think, give them a set of time. Okay, I want you to think about this problem for 1 minute. They think, then they go to their friend or their partner, you pair them, they share each other's thoughts on it, then the pair will share to the class what is their solution to the problem or what is their thoughts of the situation given. A very simple one, but it gets the class actively doing or thinking. Okay, that is one of the example of CATS. Madia's point also is another example of a CAT, of a classroom assessment technique. Okay, you get them to think about what from your lesson of that day is a kind of a reflection activity. From your reflection that day, what is the most point that they just cannot comprehend? The muddiest one. Okay, lumpur. Okay, so they share with the classroom. It gets them to think as well. And the other one is 1 minute paper reflection. By the end of the class, you give them 1 minute to submit to you what are their thoughts of the class on that day. Okay, so that you can tell from their reflection or from their thinking whether they actually understand the lesson of that day, or there are things that they might not be able to understand. All this can be done either analog, manually, or in the old days, a very simple, before technology, a very simple way of doing 1 minute paper reflection, for example, is just for a teacher to put a box by the door. Okay, before each students go out of the class, they take 1 minute to write on a piece of paper their reflection on the day and drop it in the box on the way out. Very simple. And these days you can do it very simple. I'm sure I would be surprised if no one other group with students these days, but I'm sure everyone has, right? A group with your students. By the end of the class, you can get them to send everyone to write one reflection or one muddiest point in your WhatsApp group or Telegram group with your students. That is a very simple way of doing it with technology these days. Or you can do it on Miro if you want, get them to write. So all these CATs can be done either manually, analog, no technology at all, or can be done with whatever tool of choice that is most comfortable to you and your students. All right. So talking about tools, technology, we are moving now to chapter 3. Wait, before that, sorry. Talking about CATs again, I will share with everyone one website that I use. I refer to quite a lot on this. Hold on. Where is it? Yes. Okay. Okay. I will share this link in chat box. Okay. This is a very good reference or resources on what are active learning. Within this page, there are various examples of classroom assessment techniques that you can use. For example, It is a group according to the size of the class, individual, small group, large group, okay? For example, if you are looking at activities for large group, you have case studies, think aloud, debate, peer review, respond, react, reply, which is similar to think, pair, share, okay? Or large group, you have line up, let's see, think, pair, share in a large group, 1 minute paper reflection. You scroll down, you click one activity, classroom assessment technique, for example, think, pair, share, you scroll down, it will give you instruction on how to use it. Activity, students individually think about a particular question, scenario, or problem. Next, have each student pair up to discuss their ideas or answers, then bring students together as a large class for discussion. It will be a very loud class, but it's good because your students are actively doing something beneficial, okay? So adaptable for online learning, yes. This could be done by breaking students into small chat rooms or pairing students up to message with each other, then having their group post their points to a larger discussion board, which can easily be done on Miro. You can have a group board, okay, breakout boards, they call it, on Miro, and then later they will present in a large, a bigger board of their solutions, okay? So use it as your reference. This is a very good reference. I pick and choose, but not to do too many cats in one class, okay? Students get confusing. What is your learning outcome today, 1 or 2? So you choose 1 or 2 that is most suitable for your learning outcomes, that's it. But because sometimes people get excited, kan? They want to do so many in one day, in one session. Students' feedback is the same as we ask them what they get after. Yes, it's one of the students' feedback is general, Sister Raihan. Is one of elements of classroom assessment techniques to getting student feedback. But the one that differentiate between how engaging and how active your strategy is, how you design getting feedback from the students. Okay, typically, traditionally, you ask students, kan, who has anything to share with the class? Getting them, or you ask them, anyone has any feedback? Anyone? But the class went creak. Betul tak? So we do not want, we want to eliminate that element of passively asking student, okay, anyone wants to answer? Anyone? Student blah, creak. Okay, so it's how you design the getting of students feedback makes the difference in active learning. Okay, whether you do e-portfolio, for example, or whether you do you can just, okay, some teachers can just, okay, you Kamal, you answer, and student, alamak, and sometimes asyik aku je kena, kan, mentang-mentang lah kau ingat nama aku. Alright, so so what we want is for students to voluntarily do this, giving their feedback and actively doing it in your class, and while having the element of fun in responding to your questions. Okay, so that is what active learning is all about, in general. Yeah. All right, let me go back to my slide. Okay, I showed example. So coming back to the point of this workshop on online teaching and learning, I try to use Menti so they write what they understood. Yes. What the tool of choice? Okay, now we are coming to the right chapter based on your question. Educational technology tools and application. There are so many. Currently, I have in my list more than 60 educational tools that some I've tried, some I have not tried, but I collect and compile everything because one of the subject that I'm teaching with my students, they are pre-service teachers, is internet application for education. So I give them this buffet on the table, they can pick and choose. Each student try different one, then they share with the classroom, about these different, what are the pros, the cons they discover on their own. So there are so many. Remember Kahoot tak? Anyone still remember or still using Kahoot? May I raise angkat tangan pula. Can you answer in chat? How many of you still using Kahoot? Dr. Yusof? Yes, Kahoot. Yes. Yes, using Kahoot. Remember but not using. Yes, masih using Kahoot. Not using it these days. Sometimes. Okay. Remember but not using. Yes, not use this. Sister Azah, may I know why not using anymore?
Not practical for certain skills that I am teaching.
Okay. For those, thank you for your answer. For those who are still using Kahoot, what is your students' reaction so far with Kahoot? Are they still excited about Kahoot? Any answer in chat box? I remember using Kahoot, discovering Kahoot, I think way back 2015, if I'm not mistaken, first time. And everyone was so excited about Kahoot. My workers are still excited, yes. Not really, some already bored, yes. Okay, my working adult learners, maybe it depends on who you are using Kahoot with, okay? My students, for example, the first time they are using Kahoot, they are very excited, okay? Then the lecturers, we share this new discovery of the technology Kahoot with other colleagues. Then come lecturer number 2, Kahoot, with same group of students. Come lecturer number 3, Kahoot. Come lecturer number 4, 5, 6, 7, all wants to do Kahoot excitedly with their students, but student macam Kahoot lagi. Masuk lecturer ni, okay, we are using Kahoot. Okay, this is for the 15th time today, Kahoot. So see, overuse, saturated of Kahoot. That is one example of why you need always to check your students whether they are one time, twice, okay, but technology, this kind of technology gets very boring very fast. Okay, you cannot. So you, as a teacher, we need to always find new ways. Okay, it's not about the tools. It's about the strategy that you design on how to use the tools. Okay, because tools alone will not make it interesting, regardless of how interesting it looks like visually. Interesting it looks like, but it depends on how you use it, on how you integrate it into your learning design with your students. You can use apa nama tu, PowerPoint, but can be made interesting if you know how to design and pace your activities with your students with only a PowerPoint slide deck. Okay, so it depends on your instruction, your ability to design the best active learning strategies for your students. Okay. All right. Back to this. So I'm just going to point you to this one particular framework for a while. So as a teacher, we already come equipped with content knowledge. You are the expert of your content, right? CK. And then what you need in order for you to be effective in teaching to your students is the pedagogical knowledge, okay? Knowing how to deliver your content to your students. And in these days, there's one more element that is crucial as well, especially after MCO, after the COVID that hit us. We now realize of, okay, this is a combination. We now realize the need for mastering technological knowledge as well, on how to make the right use of the right technology. Okay, technological knowledge. So when you have this, this is what we call in instructional technology as TPAC. Okay, technological pedagogical knowledge. In order for you to be able to design the best learning experience for your students, okay, in your own context, you need to master these three aspects: content knowledge. Of course, you are the master of your knowledge. To pair it with pedagogical knowledge, as well as to have technological knowledge to support your pedagogical knowledge and content knowledge and deliver the best learning experience for your students. Familiar with this? Anyone familiar with OpenAI?
I think you're not sharing the slides that you see.
Yeah, we're still at cats. We're still
We're
at
still
cats.
at cat. Yeah, again.
What? Thank you. Okay, hold on. Because on my end, it says sharing. I was talking about just now, hold on, let me just bring up. Can see now?
Yeah, now with the TPAC.
Yeah. We can see a
TPAC,
TPAC.
yes, okay. So I was talking about TPAC just now. The importance for us as teachers to equip our content knowledge with pedagogical knowledge as well as technological knowledge, because we cannot help these days. Students coming to us also, they are very much aware of new breed of technology, especially this one. Anyone familiar with this? OpenAI? Okay, because this is the company that created one of the most talked about things about in education today, ChatGPT. Yes. OpenAI is the company that created ChatGPT. How many of you now having students using, or you know students using ChatGPT? Yes, or you yourself using ChatGPT. What are your thoughts on ChatGPT, if I may ask? You can answer in chat box. Helpful, brilliant, it's amazing, very, no, just learn it, awesome for quick search, idea generation. I know you know. Can you see my slide now? What does it show?
Still at TPAC.
Apa masalah dia?
Too many screens.
Too many screens.
Too many monitors.
I'm
Left, right,
moving
top, bottom.
I'm looking at two only. I'm looking. Okay, can you see OpenAI?
Yes.
Okay. And students,
Okay.
but
Yes.
there are also cases now, many actually, where students are using ChatGPT. There are also cases now GPT to submit assignments. Okay, written assignment mostly. So it is up to us on how a different kind of assessments are needed. For example, if you ask your students to submit essay, they can easily use ChatGPT to use it to submit essay or any written assignment. How easy it is for us to use ChatGPT for our work, it is also easy for students and to use ChatGPT to submit whatever that we assign to them, especially the written ones. Okay, so how do we navigate around this? So this is what we need to always explore, and nobody ever thought of how good ChatGPT is before this, and now come ChatGPT quite a number of areas in the academic world now are quite concerned with this new technology, where students are finding a shortcut to getting their degree. All right. So in order, we ourselves also need to equip ourselves with what are the tools available for students these days. Okay, we might be impressed with their work, but how do we know whether it is really their own work and not just a shortcut? Okay, so always be prepared to have this. In the next 5 years, we might get a different breed of students who has more tools in their hand. So for the academic work, and we also need to be able to use these tools in a good way. Okay, to make it more engaging for the students. A different kind of assessment maybe is needed in order to navigate around this problem. Okay, instead of written submission, it could be a video submission. Okay, so there are many ways of doing this. Okay, I'm going to skip this. So currently, in my, how long do I have? Okay, less than an hour. Currently, in my class, I'm using this for hybrid class, of course, Zoom. In my class currently for the past, how many semesters? Since MCO, since COVID, we have had how many years? 3 years, right? Roughly. I'm using these 3 applications to manage my class. Miro is one of them. Notion is my alternative to iTaklim. And I heavily use Telegram for my classroom communication or back chat communication with my students. How many of you, may I know, are using Telegram instead of WhatsApp group with your students? May I know your preferences for Telegram instead of WhatsApp? To transfer, keep files, yes, correct. Too many messages and groups in WhatsApp already, correct? Can edit text, yes. Use both, yes. Oh, some of you are using both, okay. My main group with my students are only strictly too crowded and not using all the functions of you prefer. It depends on actually how you use Telegram. No need to disclose. Yes, that is one of the reason. Also, privacy. Telegram can also be used for video conference features. Now they can do video conferences. I tried using Telegram before during COVID. It works very well. When I'm using students are not, Microsoft Team is heavy, yes. Google Classroom now are limited. Zoom you need to pay, but Telegram gives you, in terms of screen sharing, of course Telegram is not as good as Zoom, but in a pinch you can easily use Telegram for video conferencing with your students. And recently Telegram has this feature. Can you see my screen?
It's still OpenAI.
Yeah, it's still
Open AI.
open AI.
What is wrong? Aduh. Okay, can you see my screen now?
Yeah.
Okay. Barely open Telegram. Okay, yes. Because WhatsApp, they will scale down your resolution of any photos you share, so it won't be the original resolution. But I use for all my classes, as you can see on my screen now, I use Telegram. And recently, quite recently, I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago, Telegram updated the app to include, if you are using group, you can create topics, which to me is very, very good for managing your weekly lessons or your communication. Because when you use, for example, in WhatsApp or the normal Telegram, you chat with your students, they need to scroll up to find back the previous messages, right? Now, they allow you to create topics, okay? In Telegram, you need to update to the latest Telegram. As you can see now, we are only in week 2. So I created, there will be a general topic for any question in general, okay? And there I created topic for week 1, week 2, and there will be, of course, 14 weeks for each week of the lesson of the week. And I created one FAQs topic, and the rest is all up to you. You know your lesson, you know your course best, and you know your students best, okay? And looking at this, it has the potential of becoming its own LMS if you want, okay? Because everything is according to topics, everything, you can create different topics if you want. And then in terms of, it won't take up much of your phone because of phone storage, because Telegram, everything is safe in their cloud service. So to me, so far, this is the best solution for my class. So this is the first time I'm using this topic, what do you call that, function, and I'm going to wait for the semester to end and to get feedback from the students on how they use it, how they find it. Okay. So it could be a very good alternative for you if you are using, because WhatsApp, one thing is it consumes a lot of our phone storage. Okay, it has no cloud service. It will save everything in our phone. It takes a lot. And to me, WhatsApp is too distracting, because I agree with who is it just now? Stelliana, because a lot of other groups are in WhatsApp. Okay. So I prefer something that is less crowded. Okay. So can you see my screen now moving? Is it still at Telegram screenshot? Masih?
Still
can it
still at
move?
Telegram screenshot.
Let me just stop sharing first and reshare it. Okay, can see now?
Okay.
All right. So your content, the tools that you choose for your online teaching and learning, it depends on what you do it for your learning and teaching activities, assessment tasks, okay, for your students. So if you're doing something asynchronous, make it.
Judger is normally when you're selling something, you open the store and then you try to sell something. That one is judger. Okay. Where is Raja?
That is not for us, I think.
Who that?
Intermission.
Intermission. I was like, okay. All right. So, but when you plan, coming back to our main agenda, when you plan, make it not as soon as possible, but as simple as possible. Consider all factors for your students, especially how many of you have had the experience of teaching hybrid? May I know? Teaching hybrid, I must say, it is quite challenging and draining, because you have to address two sets of students, right? One in the classroom and the other set of students online at the same time, synchronously with you. That is hybrid. So I've had several experience where to manage these two sets of students, few semesters back, we had a set of students, visiting students, but virtually visiting students from Indonesia. So they were in Indonesia at that time, and they are joining the class synchronously with my students on campus. So you can imagine, to manage both. But that's why you need to think of ways or strategies where you can get the students, both sets of students, to work together in a virtual platform, which is why I find Miro to be very, very helpful. Is my screen moving?
Still we are at selecting my tools slide.
Oh, okay. So it is. Yes, okay. All right. So the gist of the what do you call that, constructive alignment just now, for your content, whenever you want to create your content, keep it bite-sized, clearly define and rationalize to your students your content. Aim as much as possible for autonomous learning with minimal monitoring. Be practical with your students. Be reasonable, of course. Normally, if I give students assignment, they will have 1 week. We know, we know most of them will do it the day before the deadline, but still I give them 1 week to submit their, to do their task. Simplify your tools. I keep only to 3 for now, because I don't want to use too many with my students. So my main is my 3 are my LMS, Miro, as well as Telegram. That's all. Know what your students can and cannot do, especially when they are online. What are their limitations? Okay, in terms of their internet, in terms of their devices. Okay. Anyone still teaching online, or some kuliah might allow work from home and online teaching? May I know?
I am teaching online because my classes are in Pago. We
And
have
you are?
Salpad. We at Salpad we have courses that is taught in Pago, so definitely.
Oh, okay. Understood. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is very much relevant. And for PG courses, yes, the one 60% online, 40% physicals. Okay. But is there hybrid session, the other one? Where you have online as well as physical at the same time synchronously?
Yes, might be can be hybrid as well.
I see. Hybrid is challenging, isn't it?
Yes, the
When
equipment,
you
but we already practiced previous semester, so we already have all the
okay.
tools that we need.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Okay. Face-to-face, but option to do online class. So this is still very much relevant. This is something that we learned from COVID time, and then we are bringing it to, even though there's no more, COVID is not as bad, but still very much practical. Be clear and precise with instructions, okay? Especially when you have your online content, online materials. I will show you a bit after this on how I design my theme. I did not put this in my slide. Hold on. Anyone familiar with SIM?
No.
SIM is short for self-instructional materials. Some university, I know from my other colleagues from other universities, they are required to create their SIM for the class in preparation for online class and hybrid classes. So some of the faculties in other universities, creating SIM or developing SIM is a must. Okay, for each of your topics. Okay, not yet. CPD, any plan for this? I mean, did the university any instruction from the university?
I'm not so sure, Dr. Shukri, but we can include in the next following schedule for training if it's needed.
Oh, okay. No, Dr. Liana, I'm not talking about documentation for the university. I'm talking about SIM is preparing your material for your students, which you have already, but in such a way that it is self-instructional, autonomous for the students. I mean, without you, students are still able to learn from your material, from your content. It is not documenting what is SIM, self-instructional materials. Okay, we not SIM yang game tu, but it is self-instructional materials, a short form for self-instructional materials. Okay. Student learning time. Student learning time is how long you expect students to learn. Itu dalam course outline. SIM adalah your material, bukan course plan. Bukan course plan, bukan SLT. SIM adalah self-instructional materials where you arrange or you prepare your materials, for example, your slide tu. When students access the slide, your slides, what do they do? Do they do activity with it, or will they need to write something on it? So meaning they learn on their own using the material that you prepare for them. Then you check their understanding based on the assignment or the task you assign for that material. So that is what we mean by self-instructional material, meaning a material you prepare for your students that they learn on their own without you having to teach that material in person.
Is it like blended learning?
Can be used for your blended learning. Blended learning is an approach. SIM is a type of material that you prepare for your students. Okay, normally, typically kita prepare our slides, betul tak? Right? We prepare our slide untuk present dalam kelas for the students. And by the end of the lesson, normally student kata, can we have the slide? You give the students the slide for them to study. You give them quiz or exam, correct? But students still need you to explain the slide or the content of the slide to them for them to be able to understand. Self-instructional will prepare which will be used in student learn. SLT is student learning time in the course plan, right, Azhar?
Yes, but
Yes.
it is prepared for students so that we have every class would have exactly the same materials.
Yeah, can be referred to as SIM as well. A different term lah, different term. But whatever you said just now in chat box tu is what basically SIM is. Okay, cumanya dalam course plan tu kita panggil, course outline kita panggil SLT lah, student learning time. Okay. Micro. Dr. Roshdad, yes, can pretty much be transformed into micro credential. Okay. Your SIM tu, if you have sets of SIM, can be used to offer micro credential. Betul. Not much different can be used. SIM is just a type of content or material that you prepare. Okay. Some university call it SIM lah. Live worksheet is one application that can be used to include in your SIM. Okay. A set of activities tasks. Okay. So basically, a SIM in general will contain lesson that they need to learn, activity for the lesson, assessment for the lesson. Back to constructive alignment tadi lah. So one part tu adalah satu SIM basically. Okay. Let me just show you, hold on. Okay. Let me show you my Notion. For example, this is what I use for, okay, too small. Okay, can you see a new screen now I'm sharing?
Yes, Dada.
Yes.
Okay, so I designed my LMS to work like a SIM, self-instructional material, meaning if I'm not able to be with them in the classroom, they can still learn. So this is one topic that I teach for this one course. teaching them about digital imaging, raster, a type of digital imaging. So they will know when they go through the course, they know already what is the topic overview, what is the learning outcomes for this. So with instruction on what they need to do. And for example, they need to learn some basics about Photoshop. Okay. So everything is explained and instructed. This is my slide for them to learn, and they go to this website to learn how basics of Photoshop. Then even for tasks, I created tasks, and they will have, hold on, they have their weekly challenges that I prepared for them to learn, and they will submit. For example, let's say this one. So I'm teaching them about double exposure. What is double exposure in digital imaging? So I teach them this particular topic is 100% SIM, self-instructional material. I teach them how to get double exposure, how to create this. They watch this video, so they practice on their own. You can see me scrolling, right, Dr. Sadri?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, okay, all right, good. So everything is instructed in a flow that they just have to follow and submit what to do, what to learn, follow the instruction. So they have 7 days for the challenge. All right, so that is one SIM, basically. A self-instructional materials that they will be able to, they will have complete instruction there, complete knowledge of that particular lesson with assessment. They submit the assessment, and then I will be able to check their assessment. And if they have any question, they can just ask in my Telegram group that I use as communication channel for my students. Okay. So Azhar, is your SLT prepared the same way? And this, if I were to compile all this, what do you call it, my individual SIMs, yes, it can be turned into a micro-credential course. Correct. And students are guided step by step on what to do, what to learn. Okay. So that's how basically I used my 3 application. This is, by the way, is Notion. Have you heard of Notion before, colleagues and friends? This is what I'm using as an alternative for my LMS. So I tried to use Microsoft Teams, too heavy for my students. I tried to use a Google Classroom now, it's limited. So I found Notion. Notion is not made for LMS, but can be used as an LMS. Again, another app that you can use your, what do you call it? Education email to get all features for free. Okay. So this is how I arrange my lessons for my students. Yes, please do. I've been using Notion since the MCOs, and so far good feedback from the students. They like the simplicity of it, and it's very light for their devices. Okay, where is everybody still on Miro? No? Okay, so going back to our slides. Okay. So self-instructional materials, SIMS. Self-instructional materials are educational resources designed to facilitate self-directed learning. Okay, so we facilitate their learning. Okay, so to conclude, to conclude my slide, not that I still have about 25 minutes, that's it?
Yeah, 25 minutes. Yes, correct.
Yeah, okay. So to conclude my slide, we have changed. We should be changing from stage on the stage to guide on the side, where this is all about learning facilitation. So we facilitate their learning. Everything, including my sim that I designed for my students, is all about facilitating their learning. They are guided from step 1. That's why they call it instructional design. You need to be able to design the instruction that they need to follow. Okay, just like following maps. Okay, without bukan maps, sorry, bad example. I have a better example. What is the difference between IKEA and furniture that you buy from Shopee? Anyone can answer that? Perabot IKEA, furniture IKEA versus whatever Shopee furniture.
Quality and price.
Manual.
Okay, lagi?
Both have to assemble by yourself.
Yeah.
IKEA self-learn, tapi someone actually answered that just now, manual. IKEA comes with step-by-step manual that you just need to follow in order for you to be able to assemble the whatever that you buy from IKEA, right? And their manual too is very well structured, so that you won't miss any. You miss a step, you won't get the furniture. You just have to follow. I have bought a furniture from Shopee before. It comes with 0 manual. Kalau ada pun in Chinese, which I don't read. Okay, so you just need to figure out, alamak, try tu, try ni, jadilah benda berupa meja. Nasib baik. Okay, but IKEA, but that is instructional design. Everything needs to come with proper instruction, proper manual for your student to be able to follow what you are teaching them. We cannot assume that everyone, kalau kita ada 40 students, for example, in one class, that everyone will be able to follow what you say verbatim or just by depending on what you say in the classroom. It needs to come with proper manual. So that is instructional design is all about. Think of IKEA, you will understand. Detailed instruction to assemble yourself. Yes, correct, betul. Dr. Liana, you are using iTaklim you use both Notion? No, unfortunately, sorry, Dr. Sadri, sorry, CPD. I'm currently not using iTaklim because I create a small pool with my students. I ask them, what do you prefer to use? Okay, I give them options. You want me to use Google Classroom or Microsoft Teams or iTaklim or Notion? I let them try all 4. Then they decided that they want to stay with Notion because it's easy, light on their yes, Notion is not LMS. Yeah, I'm not saying that you should treat it as LMS, but for what I've been using, Alhamdulillah, it works fine. Okay, but there are tools that Notion does not have for what you might want to do with your student. So you need to know because you know your student best and your material, your content best. So you need to be able to identify which tool that works best for your students as well as for your content. Okay, I'm saying that you might not be able to, you might or might not be able to copy 100% of what I do with Notion, with Miro. So you need to do a small study with your students, profile your students. Student profiling also is another workshop and that is panjang. Itu cerita panjang pula. Apa profiling?
Another topic on its own.
Yes. So you need betul. You need to profile your student dulu. What do they have? What can they do? What they cannot do? Apa tools dia ada available for them? Okay, kadang-kadang kita rasa kita there were too many by different. Correct, betul. Okay, I agree to that. Yes, some students mentioned different lecture during COVID. Some prefer only two. That's why I asked. That's why I did a small survey with them. I said yes. I do not want to burden you. I said that I told them. I know you are having too many already. Microsoft Teams, Google Classroom. Okay, but I get their permission first before I use. They are comfortable with Google Classroom, and then I would have used Google Classroom. Okay. So far, because Notion is their platform for e-portfolio. For my unit, instructional technology unit, almost all the courses we use e-portfolio as part of the assessment. So we found Notion to be. That's how I discovered Notion. We found Notion to be a very good platform for e-portfolio. So we use that for e-portfolio, and it is a very good feedback from the students on what they learn, how they learn. Okay, there are even negative comments, which for me as a teacher, I learn a lot from their comments as well. Okay, itu pun cerita lain pula lah, tadi e-portfolio pula. Aduh. Tapi so all these factors lah. Consider all factors. Consider all factors. Okay, but let me see my because can you see my slide moving now?
Yes.
Is it moving? Okay.
Yeah.
Because teaching and learning is a conversation. Okay. And a conversation, it has to be two-way street, and it cannot exist one way. So you communicate with your students, get their feedback. How do they prefer to learn, and listen to their feedback. And teaching is a learning process also for us as a teacher. While we teach, we learn also. We learn from them, from the students, and we should never stop learning on how to best deliver our content pedagogically and technologically. Okay, and you know your students best. You are their best friend. Here, your students might be different from my students. So from what I get from my students so far, Alhamdulillah, I can confidently say this is the best for them. They are okay with it. And you check with your students what would be the designer of their learning. Okay, design their learning experience. Okay, integrate activities. It's not just about the tools. Tools is just a tool lah. Okay, a fool with a tool will always be a fool, regardless of whatever tool that that they get. Okay, and learn how to design their best learning experience. That's what I can say. I mean, to sort of conclude our session, my slide. Okay. Is there anything in the chat? Notion versus, I missed this from Dr. Rashdan. Notion versus Microsoft Teams, what are their differences? Notion is a note-taking app, actually. It started as a note-taking app and can be used to create database. It's an online app, but it is a tool that is very simple and light for me to use, as well as for my students to use. But it is not LMS. Microsoft Teams, iTaklim, Google Classroom, these are all learning management system, LMS. It has tools that some of you might need to use for your students' online learning. Okay. But for my students, using Notion, Alhamdulillah, so far is good. And Miro also is good. let me just show you how I use Miro again with my students. We have about 15 minutes. So if there are any questions while I'm showing you my Miro, you can ask. That is a very good question. You can ask in the chat box, so I will be able to answer. And we already have the first question. Hold on, let me just show. I wanted to show my Miro. Is there a question in Miro also? Okay. Liana, where we can find time to change from stage on the stage or to guide, or from stage to on the stage to guide on the side. Semester already started. Okay, to answer your questions, it is not preparing to be guide on the side before the semester start. It has to go along with the semester, meaning look at how we teach so far. Okay, if our teaching, I'm not sure, may I know, Dr. Liana, from which kuliah you are? KICT. Teaching what subject? And to how many? Teaching what subject? And to how many number of students? Around 30 per class, about the same as my class. Okay, so algorithm basically, so we need, what I mean by stage on the stage is we need to shift from a lecture-based teaching to more of a facilitating approach of teaching. Okay, we can reduce our amount of lecture, and you can integrate different kinds of activities, active learning activities for the students. They can co-discover about the topic that you are teaching them among themselves, and you guide them whether what they discover is right or wrong. That is what facilitating means. So guide on the side, meaning you guide them while they are learning, and as much as possible reduce our own TTT, which is teacher talking time, and more on them doing activities for better understanding of the lesson. Okay, so that is being a guide on the side. So we go around facilitating them, check their understanding, okay, rather than strictly lecture-based teaching method. Okay, it's not about, especially when the semester has already started. Okay, and there is no fixed time needed, whether you must guide 15 minutes or so. That, coming back to what I said in my slide, you know your students best. Okay, learn how they learn best, discover what is the best aspect of their learning experience, and you navigate around that. Okay, I hope that answers your questions, Dr. Liana. Any other question? Still have 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
I hope you will be able to use Miro to explore Miro with your students. Design activities to be used on Miro. Like what I mostly use my Miro for my photography class, where they have weekly challenges. But I also use my Miro for presenting my slides with them. Okay, for ta'aruf and warm up, teaching them visual literacy. So this is my slide with them. I call it my learning scape. Okay, so this is where they go on its own. Actually, it can be an LMS, but it depends. Okay. So this is just a one-stop center for them to go and discover whatever that they need to learn. Alhamdulillah. Thank you so much for joining. There are many to be shared, inshallah, but maybe some other times, inshallah. Okay. When is the next? That one, Dr. Liana, you need to ask TPD.
We'll put the suggestion, okay, from the Shukri, and inshallah we will try to make it happen next year lah, inshallah.
Thank you everyone for joining. Thank you. Most welcome.
So, do we have any last question to Dr. Shukri? Okay, right. Okay, there's a question, Doctor.
What tips do you have for using ChatGPT? Depending on what you want to use it for. Okay, but one tip, but one tip that I can give is, you must understand that ChatGPT, nama dia pun chat. You must treat it as a conversation. Use it wisely also, Dr. Aizat, betul correct. You need to treat it as a conversation because it is trained to understand conversation. So bukannya tanya, we should not use it as one chat per what do you call it? Like a Google search. No, it is not to be used like a Google search. Okay, it is to be used as like how you communicate with a real person, and the AI will understand your pattern of questioning from your chat, and it will be able to answer you better. Okay, so treat it as if you are chatting with someone, not as a Google search. Kalau Google search, normally we would just ask one question, what is this? And Google will give you the answers, correct? But this one, it should be used as a conversation, in a conversational flow. Okay. That is one thing I can give.
All right. So I think the visual ChatGPT is coming out soon.
Yeah, there are so many now. So hopefully, Dr. Mehmet, I think you want to ask a question?
Yes, in fact, this is already in chat box. One question, I guess, not answered. Just I wish to repeat it. I mean, one of our colleagues mentioned that some students get tired of many platforms, so they prefer to use just one or two common one. I mean, is there a possibility to have a sort of consensus? I mean, it is difficult probably in a faculty base. Majority of the teaching staff will use a certain platform or a few of them.
I think I can answer that one. Okay, so for as of now, our official LMS is Aitalim, official IUM LMS. So in case that, okay, I think some question here from Cikgu Syari regarding whether Miro, there's a plugin. Yes, there's a plugin. In case that we can also install, we can also install Miro. I just searched just now. Miro is available for our iTatlim platform. We can install that. If there is a request, huge request, then we can install on iTatlim so that everybody can use it. But the Notion I haven't checked yet. Inshallah, I will try check this. If it's everybody needed, then we can include on iTatlim. Okay, so okay, Dr. Shukri mentioned just now because he used different types of platform to post the material and also they conduct those learning activity and so on and so forth. For our side in the CPD, because we need to have some kind of report of blended learning to Ministry of Higher Education. So the only platform data that we gather is from iTatlim. So if you are using other kind of tools, Teams, Google Classroom, and so on and so forth, we will not be able to capture whether you are 100% using blended learning or not. So we miss the number that we have to report to Ministry of Higher Education. So it will not look good on
Dr.
us
Sadri.
because, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Do we
because we're
still have
having
self-reporting mechanism?
Yeah, we normally capture those blended learning on like Taklim platform to feed to Ministry of Higher Education.
No, I mean, do we still have self-reporting? Do we allow
Self-reporting.
Maksudnya for other
Yeah, that's why
lecturers to report, self-report, yes.
That's what we're thinking. So we try to, I will discuss with Prof. Mira, and we'll see whether we can do that self-reporting that everybody using different platform, they have to report whether they are met the blended learning or not. So the easiest one that right now that we can gather all is using iTalim lah.
Correct. Because that's why I said earlier, I think that answers
okay,
Dr. Mehmet's question.
Yeah. Am I answering your question, Dr. Mehmet? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, any question to Dr. Shukri? Dr. Shukri, I think there is one from Dr. Brother Isaac.
Dr. Aizat is suggesting two LMS
right.
that is much more user-friendly rather than using Mohd.
Oh, okay. All right. So this one gonna need a serious discussion if we're gonna move from Moodle to the suggested alternative to Moodle.
Correct.
Inshallah, I will try to bring this up to Prof. Mira.
But one feedback, I mean, several feedbacks that I get from almost all of my students is they are not looking at the brand, or they are not looking at the branding of the LMS. What they focus on is how user friendly it is, how simple and light it is to their devices, and also I got this comment also, how visually interesting the LMS is to them, their generation. To us, simple might look good, to them might not. So that is some comments that I got from my students. Aesthetic, yes, aesthetic. The aesthetic values for these young generations.
Okay, all right. Okay, so any other questions? We have another 2 minutes, or else we can end now. I did that. Dr. Shukri, you will give us the slide,
The slide, yes, inshallah. I will, do I send it to you or to Nurul?
Could you send it to Nurul, and then Nurul will pass up to everyone.
Okay, sure, inshallah.
Okay. Any last question before we end? No, okay, yeah. Recording will also give it to all of you. Okay, with the link from our YouTube channel. Okay, all right. So So thank you, Dr. Shukri, for the interesting and practical training. Especially, thank you for introducing to us the notion and also the Miro. Okay, I hope the training will help us to improve our current teaching and learning. All right. Before we end, please fill in our evaluation form, which is very important to us in CPD, so that we can improve the training in the future, or we can create another training similar in the future. Okay, so if you miss any part of the training, don't worry, we will upload the recorded video to our CPD website and also email to the link. Okay, so let's end our training today with recitation of Surah Al-As and Tasbih Kafarah. Okay, Dr. Shukri, thank you so much.
Thank you. Most welcome, everyone.
Thank you.
And thank you, CPD, for inviting.
Good day.
All right.
Thank you.